Animal Crossing New Horizons has sold over 42 million units, making it not only one of the most successful life simulation games out there, but one of the highest selling games of all time, the 15th highest sold to be exact. And with its remarkable success and innovations, the game propelled the life simulation genre to new heights. However, despite its initial popularity upon release, many players who once invested hundreds to even thousands of hours are no longer engaged with the game. Unlike most, my introduction to the Animal Crossing series was as a kid to the first Animal Crossing game on the GameCube. I really adore this franchise, and as a longtime fan of the series, I've been very open about my criticisms. And just like a family member that you love and support, you want to guide them in the right direction. This caused me to make several videos critiquing New Horizons. I do this because I believe in the game's potential. New Horizons is truly a fun and addicting game, and there are so many features to love about the game. But the reason why users have stopped playing Animal Crossing New Horizons is what I believe to be from one key issue. And that key issue with New Horizons is its lack of longevity. This is evident in the declining player base. Other life sim games like Stardew Valley, Disney Dreamlight Valley, and The Sims have sustained their popularity through continuous updates, leaving New Horizons behind. This is even more evident as I held a poll on my community page, and at the moment of writing this, from the poll of 250 people, 44% still play Animal Crossing, 46% don't, and 10% have never played. As Nintendo is rumored to announce a new console and a new game, this video focuses on outlining the essential features the next Animal Crossing game should have to avoid the fate of New Horizons. We aim to ensure the next game offers a decade-long engaging experience similar to Animal Crossing's previous game, Animal Crossing New Leaf. Remember, New Leaf had 8 years of longevity for us players, and I held an poll on my community page, and most people seem to say that Animal Crossing New Leaf is actually the best game in the series. And I would attribute this to New Leaf being better with its gameplay and features that make longevity last for years. And I personally remember this. New Leaf's player base never dwindled during its 8-year-long wait for the next game. Along with that, Nintendo added a huge update to Animal Crossing New Leaf that added even more stuff to do and added more longevity to the game. And the Google Trends support this, as New Leaf never dipped in the way Animal Crossing New Horizons did. All of this is my reasoning for making this video and this list. Animal Crossing New Horizons had the potential to still be popular and played. Instead, due to its longevity issues, its popularity has dipped to an all-time low only 3 years after its release, while there are other games in the same genre that are still going strong. So the goal of this video is to point out features that the next Animal Crossing game needs, so it won't be hit with the same fate as New Horizons. And with that, here are my top 10 features that the next Animal Crossing game needs. Number 1. A story of sorts. Other life sim games like Stardew Valley, Harvestella, Disney Dreamlight Valley, many of the Harvest Moon games, and many other life sim games in general have a story that pushes the player forward and keeps them interested. They often have a good balance of life sim activities and good story moments that keep players engaged. These goals and quests not only keep players engaged, but also create a lot of replayability. And while the Animal Crossing games in this series have had a light story that relate to the reasons why players move to these towns, cities, and islands, it doesn't go much further than that. I personally feel that the story of New Leaf is the most fleshed out as you become mayor, guide, and build your town, and even learn some of the backstory with some of the characters. While this is fine and good, the other games I have mentioned have set a new standard for storytelling and life sim activities, and Animal Crossing's next game needs to catch up with this. There needs to be a story for your character that is more than just you moving to a town or island. There needs to be something pushing the player forward, and they have a lot of examples to go by based on all these games that are doing it very well. And again, this is all about longevity as well. And a story would definitely keep players interested and give them a long-lasting goal to move forward, making the game last even longer. Number 2. minigames. I've been preaching this for years. The older games in the series, like the first game with the NES game, or the minigames that are added in New Leaf, have already done this. Or even look at the arcade games from Stardew Valley and Splatoon. Minigames add a lot of extra content and give a break to the players from the life sim aspects. And you can even incorporate it with the villagers. Imagine something as simple as having a table with a chessboard, and you invite a villager to play chess or vice versa. And then you play a simple game of chess with them. This could not only be a fun little game, but it could allow you to interact with your villagers in a whole new way. Well, if we had little games we could play like this with our villagers. I feel mini games are essential to adding longevity to the next Animal Crossing game. Plus, Animal Crossing games from the past have already had mini games. There is no reason why Animal Crossing games of today or in the future should not have the same thing we had in the past. Number 3. Enhanced customization and upgrades. Animal Crossing New Horizons really stepped up the customization compared to previous entries, and I feel the next game needs to step up even more. A huge part of New Horizons' charm was the fact that you could customize your islands so much, which led to some beautiful and creative islands. Now, how can Nintendo step up the customization? Well, for starters, they could lessen the restrictions that New Horizons had. The options for even more bridges and inclines should be a must. This will allow so much more creativity and ingenuity into people's towns, villages, or islands, whatever they want to do in the next game. Also, the issue that many had was the problem where players couldn't center when customizing. This issue should be corrected. Also, a favorite of mine was the land bridges, where you could get a bridge over between elevated land and leave an arch underneath. I've seen fan art of this, and I really think this would just be an awesome addition to the game, and again, allow so much more creativity to people's places. The customization in New Horizons was already great, but for the sequel, for the next console, this should be even better. And better customization will increase the game's longevity as players will have more tools to be even more creative. Number 4. Varied villager interactions. It's no surprise I wasn't the biggest fan of the dialogue in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've talked about it in many videos. Villagers would often run out of things to say, and would even repeat the other villagers of the same personality type. It would get boring and ruin the immersion. I know these games have a limited amount of dialogue, but the first game was able to handle this just fine. Again, a game from 2001. With Nintendo's resources and technology, I feel they should be able to add enough unique dialogue for villagers so you don't constantly see villagers repeating themselves or each other. If Nintendo wants the next Animal Crossing to have longevity for players, they need more unique and immersive dialogue for the villagers so the players don't get burnt out or have the immersion ruined. This is personally one of the biggest reasons why I stopped playing Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I feel many players are on the same boat. If villagers had much more unique dialogue, it would add a lot of immersion and longevity to this game, as players would feel more immersed into these characters and their conversations, hence making them wanting to play longer. Number 5. Add all villagers. And thank you to Samuel Melendez 7566 who talked about bringing back certain villagers as a suggestion for this video. I feel for the next game, they should take the Smash Ultimate approach and have every villager that has ever existed. And if I'm correct, there's around 70 or 80 villagers that have been removed and haven't returned into Animal Crossing. I feel like all of them should be added back into the next Animal Crossing game. They always say bigger is better. This concept would apply well to the cast of villagers for players to bond with. The more villagers, new and old, the more opportunities for players to play and interact with the villagers, from the new to the old and forgotten. Players would spend a lot more time trying to get these villagers that they've never interacted with or seen before, and that would add a lot of longevity to this game. Number 6. Engaging multiplayer. This was a big issue for me when playing New Horizons. I really couldn't find much reason to play multiplayer. There really wasn't much to do in New Horizons with multiplayer. Again, in previous games like New Leaf, there was incentive in multiplayer with collecting bugs or playing the multiplayer mini-games. If the sequel to New Horizons wants longevity, then we need better multiplayer, like multiplayer mini-games, or maybe ways to get more bells or unique multiplayer items. Again, this would add, of course, more longevity as more players would be playing online. They'd be going on every day to play Animal Crossing, whatever the next one's going to be called, to play with their friends or family or random people. There should be a lot more incentive into multiplayer. I personally remember that me and my wife only did multiplayer a number of times because there really wasn't anything to do. If you have multiplayer, whether it's local or online, people will play. People will get together and play this game together. So you need to get multiplayer mini games of sorts, things to do on your island or town or village, whatever the next game's gonna have. There just needs to be multiplayer activities besides just looking at people's islands. Number 7, different villager species. And thank you to What244 for talking about bringing new villagers and species. We do have a lot of different villager species, but we can really expand this list. I did a poll on people's favorite species to add, but I personally feel all of these would be great additions. If we already have owl, giraffes, and fox characters, I say add them all in already as villagers, and bats would just also be very cool. Again, new villagers and new species make players want to get these new types of villagers, which again, in turn, would add longevity. Number 8, consistent updates. Games like Stardew Valley, The Sims, and Disney Dreamlight Valley are really the biggest examples of why Nintendo should have consistently added updates for years. Like I said in my previous Animal Crossing video, I truly believe that if Nintendo just continues adding updates to New Horizons, it would still be a huge success, and would not have to take such a big dip in popularity. The fact that many of these games I have mentioned have stayed relevant over the years just show that continuously updating the game keeps players engaged in the product. Like I said in my previous Animal Crossing video, Nintendo really missed a huge opportunity with New Horizons. Animal Crossing New Horizons really still could have been one of the biggest games in 2023 if Nintendo just constantly added updates and constantly added some new features or improving dialogue, adding better multiplayer, really anything I've already mentioned on this list. If they added it, New Horizons still would be a huge success. And they have the fans and player base, and they have the financial resources to make it happen. So let's just hope that the next game has consistent updates, or else it will reach the same fate as New Horizons. Number 9. More villagers. I've often contested that in the first Animal Crossing game, you can have up to 15 villagers, and in New Horizons, that has been decreased to 10. Again, that's a game from 2001. I feel that we should be able to have 15 now. That is all. In the first game, we can get 15, we should be able to get 15 currently, if not even more. With today's console, or the console of the future, we should have the technology to have all of this. Have at least 15 villagers, and again, the more villagers, and if it has better dialogue, the more we can do, and the more players can play. Again, adding to longevity, adding to players playing the game for years. And number 10. More stores and upgrades. And thank you to Armored Warrior 777 who suggested this as well. One of my favorite things about New Leaf was the stores and upgrades with them. I feel a part of the sequel should have a lot of stores and the ability to upgrade them like in previous entries. There are a lot of stores in the previous game that should return as well, like Club LOL from New Leaf and the Marquee from City Folk. If there's more stores and places to have fun and more upgrades for these places, there will be more for players to sink their teeth into, more to spend time on grinding and building up these things to improve their villages and their stores. And again, it adds a lot more interactions with characters, which makes players want to play more. And of course, in turn, just makes the longevity of the game last even longer. So those are the 10 features I and others feel are essential for the next Animal Crossing game. If these features are in the next game, then the next game will definitely surpass New Horizons' longevity. These features can shape the future of Animal Crossing series and maintain its status as one of the ultimate life simulation games. It is my hope that Nintendo will add these features to the next Animal Crossing game. I may sound critical of New Horizons, but I really do love Animal Crossing New Horizons and of course the whole series, and I just want the game to be the best it can be. Because if Animal Crossing is fun and it succeeds, then really we all win. I'm always rooting for a success of a game that I like, because if it's successful and good, then me and all the players playing it are gonna be happy. And I just hope that Nintendo will add all, or if not, maybe even some of these features. And I feel feel that adding any of them will greatly improve the series. But with that being said, are there any features you guys feel should be added to the next Animal Crossing game? And if so, please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a like, and if you're new, please subscribe for updates on new content. But everyone, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.